Yara. It's worth the hype. So this came in the mail, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and my daughter, I'll just be smelling it just for smelling it too. My daughter saw it come. She's 10. Her body's changing. So she saw the box. I think she was just attracted to the box. She decided to open it without my permission. But I didn't make a big deal this time because her body's changing. And when she smelled it, she's been wearing it ever since. And it's doing the trick. There's no basket for you to click on. I'm not doing a review. I'm not telling you to buy it. I don't have a TikTok shop. I'm just saying. The point though is that my daughter knows something about our relationship that she felt like she could just go open that box and take out my perfume and been using it every single day. I figure she must be saying, you know, Mom, you had me when you were 43, when you shouldn't be having kids, and I need some perfume. She didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I was doing some reflection today on Ezekiah, Isaiah, and God in 2 Kings chapter 20. And I see the power of relationships. I think that's what my daughter leveraged to get into my perfume without my permission. So Ezekiah was a leader of God's people. He got so sick unto death, the scripture says, in 2 Kings chapter 20. He was sick unto death. He was in the ICU, in the hospital, strung up on all kinds of IV and, tubes and things. And Isaiah the prophet came to him. Imagine having a visitor like this at a hospital. Ezekiah, the Lord says, set your house in order, for you're going to die and you will not live. Imagine having that kind of visitor. Oh my gosh. But you know what I like about Ezekiah? He didn't argue with Isaiah. He didn't tell him to plead his cause. He didn't say, when did God tell you? He didn't beg. I don't know, if that were me, I'll be like, really? God told you? What did you say to him? How did you ask him to heal me? I would want to know. I mean, if I had a friend, that's what I would expect from the friend. I'm thinking they must be friends. I mean, one is a prophet and the other one's a leader of the people. They got to know each other on some level, right? But Ezekiah didn't do any of that. Instead, it says he turned his face to the wall and prayed to God. He gave God his resume. He says, remember, God, how I've prayed to you and walked before you, and I've been truthful, and I've been loyal, and I've done this and that and the other. And then he weeps. I think God has a weakness. Because Psalm 51 says, a broken and a contrite heart, he will not despise. And Ezekiah probably knew that about God too. He had that intimacy, that leverage, that connection. There was oil in his tank where he felt like he could just appeal to God on this level. But the relationship has to be there to be able to do this kind of stuff. Wow. Sometimes we think that relationship don't matter that much. Or we think that, we can just ditch that relationship because I got tired of it anyway. Besides, they're getting on my nerves. But I'm sure that Ezekiah may have had some of those feelings towards God at times. But he's stuck in there with his relationship with God. So when this day came, he was able to say, look, God, I've done this, I've done that, and the other, and, I don't want to die. I mean, that's powerful stuff. And in verse 4, it says, and it happened before Isaiah, the prophet who came to tell him the bad news, the visitor that none of us wants. Before Isaiah had gone out into the middle court, the word of the Lord came to him. So he gives the bad news and he's leaving. And God said to Isaiah, return to Hezekiah. Go back. The leader of my people. Tell Hezekiah, the leader of my people, thus said the Lord, the God of David, your father, I have heard your prayer and seen your tears. God sees us, guys. God sees us. He sees our tears. I know He's seen my tears because I be crying sometimes. And I've cried many times. And He says, surely I will heal you. So the resume worked. And on the third day, God is still talking. On the third day, you shall go up to the house of the Lord. He's telling Isaiah to tell Hezekiah this. And I will add to your days 15 years. Now that is some good news. If you're in the hospital and you get that news about the tumor or about the growth or the fibroid or whatever, that is fantastic news. I would have been so like, my day would be made, okay? My year would be made. And He says, I will deliver you and the city, not just him. He's going to deliver Hezekiah and the city from the hand of the king of Assyria. I guess who they had some beef with, I guess. And I will defend this city, God is saying, for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David. God is a promise keeper, right? Because I'm like, what does David have to do with the story? But He wanted to remind his guy that, I'm a promise keeper. So I'm going to do it for myself and for David, who I don't know where he shows up. The point is, God is a promise keeper. So He's giving Isaiah all this instruction to give to Hezekiah. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, take a lump of figs. So they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered. He actually did recover just like God said. But Hezekiah, he's still leveraging that relationship. He knows the power of relationship. He said to Isaiah, what is the sign that the Lord will heal me and that I shall go up to the house of the Lord on the third day? You mean the fact that you already recovered is not sign enough? That you're out of the hospital? That the tubes have been taken off? That's not sign enough? Apparently not. Not for Hezekiah. And Isaiah said to him, then Isaiah said, this is a sign to you from the Lord, that the Lord will do the thing which He has spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees or go back 10 degrees? Isaiah is getting real specific because he understands how Hezekiah's mind works. That's what I'm thinking. Isaiah knows that Hezekiah is very specific. He's focused. Focused thinking in a relationship with God is very important. Focused thinking. And Hezekiah answered, well, it's an easy thing. It's easy for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. No. But let the shadow go back 10 degrees and then I'll know. See again, that relationship, the oil in the tank. He had oil in that relational tank. So Isaiah the prophet didn't argue with him. He cried out to the Lord. And He brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards, by which it had gone down on the sundial of Ahaz. The shadow went 10, I'm trying to picture what this, the shadow went 10 degrees backwards. Whatever. The point is, he was specific in his requests. He knew the power of relationship. I'm talking about Hezekiah right now. He knew that his own intimacy with God could make a difference, was a game changer. He knew that he could remind God, the creator of the universe, as if God forgot that He had done all the things that He'd done before. Relationship matters. Merge our thinking skill with our relationship with God through prayer and see what that does. This is a very good example of that. Focused thinking, creative thinking, strategic thinking, the power of relationships. So many lessons, so many gems in this one little section here in 2 Kings chapter 20. I hope this helps and encourages you. God likes specificity. I can never say that word, so I'm not going to say it. Just be focused and specific, okay? I was going to try to say specificity. I got it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.